So I said, I believe in my last video, that I was thinking that I should continue with my teardrop that I purchased a year ago, and then just travel full time with the teardrop and then combine it with some pet sitting. But of course, I'm flip-flopping on that and still trying to make a decision as to what the best thing is to do. This is the time I feel like I wish I wasn't single, because you'd have somebody else to bounce ideas off of and make a decision probably faster, because I'm too good at, analyzing and figuring out all the things that could go wrong or wouldn't work. And so I kind of get paralyzation by analyzation. So it's challenging, because I really want to make the right decision too, because it's a big deal. And as a single solo female, I think that you have to do your due diligence and make sure you're making the right decisions. And so I've been flip-flopping into different ideas. And so I thought, well, if I'm going to stick with the teardrop, then I want a better tow vehicle. So that means upgrading to a better tow vehicle, which means I've got to spend money on that. I was thinking of maybe a Honda Pilot or a Honda Ridgeline truck, and those can get pretty expensive. I still would buy used, but I'm looking at shelling out $30,000 to $35,000 for something a few years old, and it has a tow capacity of 5,000 pounds. So I thought, well, that would be good, because when I'm ready, I could always upgrade to a better trailer or bigger trailer at some point. So I thought, okay, that's the idea, that's the solution. And then I thought, you know what, it's going to be such a hassle to set up my office all the time for working. And, it's not easy to do. I can't do it inside the teardrop. I'm going to have to set up a table outside and set up an office. And I just don't like that idea. I'm not crazy about it. So I started looking at a bigger trailer that I could pull, and I went to go last week look at a Tab 320 clamshell. And so it has the kitchen in the back, which I really love. It's really great to cook outdoors, and I like that. And it has a little table that would be just about big enough to be able to put my office stuff on there. So I went to a dealership and looked at it, and it's very cute, very small, seems to be well made. But boy, oh boy, I got sticker shock. It's just so expensive. It's like, $38,000 and up, especially if you choose to upgrade to the lithium package, where you get some solar, extra solar, and the Battle-Born battery. So you're looking at, $42,000, $43,000. So for something new, I did look for used, but a lot of times the rigs were really far away. I'd have to fly out of state or drive to, far distance. And that seemed like a hassle. So I'm like, oh, I don't think this is a solution either. So then I started looking intensely over the last week at Class C's online. So I've been looking at Facebook Marketplace and RV Trader and eBay and Craigslist, and I'm finding so far that it seems like most of the rigs that are closer to me are on Facebook Marketplace. So I found a couple that I really liked, and then I'd call on them and they were gone already. So like those good ones that are either priced well or have low mileage, or they're super clean, or they were stored indoors or whatever, they go very quickly. And it made me realize, oh boy, you probably don't have time to get an RV inspection, because they know that somebody's gonna, come right under you and take it off the seller's hands immediately. So I'm beginning to realize that probably getting an RV inspection is going to be very difficult for a rig that's in really great shape and in high demand, or has a good price or whatever, So that's becoming a reality to me. Like, okay, so I'm kind of going to have to rely on my own skills to try to figure out if a rig is going to work for me and if it's going to be not a lemon and a money pit. I'd like to avoid that if I could. So I don't have any friends that know anything about RVs that can come with me and check it out. So it's up to me. And so that's super scary. So I actually was really disappointed where there was a couple of rigs I really liked, and then I'd call, they were already sold, or I just didn't get to it quick enough. So I realized, oh my gosh, you have to be checking constantly and get back to people immediately. And especially on Facebook Marketplace. And so I, yesterday, I guess it was, morning, I was checking it constantly, and I saw a rig that was really exciting because it was a 2013. I've been mostly looking at rigs that are 2010 and older. And so I saw this one for 2013 that was only 8,000 miles. And I'm like, whoa. And I looked at the floor plan and it was perfect. It's called a Winnebago Access 24V floor plan. So I think it was either 24 or 25 feet long, and it had queen size bed in the corner with windows, which I liked a lot. Made it feel open. It had a full shower, separate shower and toilet. It had a stove, oven, a big dinette set, and an overhead cab, and lots of windows. So I thought this floor plan is perfect for me. I love it. And so I immediately texted the guy, and fortunately I was the first one who got to him. And so I said, and I knew I had to see it as soon as possible. So I said, can I come see it tomorrow morning? And he said, sure. So I had to drive 90 minutes to get out here to Sacramento and take a look at it. He had it parked in a outdoor storage place. And, to me, that's like not ideal. I would much prefer to get a rig that was stored indoors. So that was a concern of mine, for water damage. I asked him about whether or not the roof had been sealed, and he said, yes, I had some guy come out and seal it for me last week. So I thought, well, that's a good thing. But who knows if this guy did a good job? I mean, who knows, and I can't really, I'm not physically able to climb up to on a roof and inspect it, nor am I that capable of looking in the undercarriage and getting down on my back and looking underneath the carriage. That's why I thought an RV inspector was a must. But for these rigs that are hot, they go quick. You just don't have time. So I'm really worried about that. But anyways, I did watch a YouTube video where the guy was really clever, where he put his phone on a really long selfie stick, or I think he taped the selfie stick to a painter's pole, and then he was able to see the roof that way with the phone. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. And I suppose you could do the same thing for the undercarriage. But in any case, I went to go look at it. I spent an hour and a half looking at it with the guy, and I just left actually from that. And I, in the end, decided to pass on it. Really liked the floor plan a lot. It's perfect for one person. It would have been just the right size. I liked that it had a comfortable big dinette where I could put my office. The bed was comfortable. Bathroom was pretty tiny, but good enough. And not as much counter space as I would like, but I could probably make it work where I could sit at the dinette and cut up my vegetables or something like that. The over cab area, I wish it didn't have that because that's sort of a waste of space, but most of these rigs have that, so that's probably what I'm going to end up with if I end up with the Class C. But there were some red flags to me about it. I saw some rust, underneath, and I had him open up all the compartments in the rig, and it just didn't look clean or well cared for. I asked him to pull out the house batteries, and they were kind of like corroded a bit, and not cleaned up and well cared for. And I saw some other concerning things inside the rig. I saw this green stuff that was on all of the, like a green powder on all of the faucets, and it was weird. I don't know if that was a mold. He didn't know what it was, and I feel like since it was probably all closed up and it's been raining here a lot, that maybe it was mold. I don't know. I just don't know what that was. I found some things that weren't working. There was a cupboard that wasn't working well, and then there was a window that didn't prop open very well. Seemed to be broken. I saw some stains on the ceiling. I was trying to press around with my hand, and I feel like I felt a couple of soft spots. I did go and watch a bunch of YouTube videos and typed up an inspection list, and kind of went through that somewhat and tried to do my best. But I feel like, you know, it's tricky when the rig's parked at a storage lot, because you don't have the time that you want to spend with it to really look through, at least for me anyways. I'd like to spend a couple of hours inside of a rig and really inspect it and not have the seller right there watching me. I want time with the rig to really check everything out thoroughly. But since he was right there, it was awkward, you know, it was really difficult to do that. So I just felt like I'd have to make a decision on the spot, and I couldn't take it to an RV inspector, and that's probably going to be the case for most nice used Class Cs. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to just kind of go by my intuition and my gut, and my gut was telling me that this guy, he said in the ad that he was pricing it to sell. And I asked him right away, I said, why were you pricing it to sell? Because I was curious about the reason for it. And he said, well, for one thing, it's not big enough for my family. And for another, I put a down payment on a fifth wheel, and I want to sell this as quick as I can, you know. And I understood that. But it also makes me a little bit nervous when somebody's in a hurry to sell something like that, when they're trying to get some money, because they might be more inclined to hide some things that are wrong with the rig. So I didn't feel totally comfortable with that. And I told myself on my way to the appointment, follow your intuition and your gut, Victoria, because when you haven't done that, you get into trouble and you find out later that your gut was telling you right. So listen to your gut. So although I was falling in love with the floor plan, and you know, the rig itself was fairly nice, there were some, like I said, some things that were concerning about it to me. It also was kind of a dark color. The flooring was dark, the cupboards were dark, and it kind of made me feel a little claustrophobic. But I mainly feel like the seller kind of left it in that storage unit. He had no maintenance records on it. And I don't think it was maintained that well. And so that was a red flag. And so anyways, I followed my intuition. I said, this is the first rig you've seen, Victoria. No reason to rush it. Take your time with this and just wait until the perfect rig comes along. You have your teardrop. You can always fall back on that if it doesn't work out. So I'm proud of myself for following my intuition, and it was tempting. It's a little tempting to buy something quickly so I can get things on the road and get this show on the road. I'm a little anxious to get it going, and also I was thinking, okay, you got to get something sooner rather than later, because then you got to try to sell your trailer, and who knows how long that will take to sell. I have no idea. So that was kind of my thinking, is get a Class C rig first and then put your trailer up for sale once you're convinced you've got the perfect rig. So I'm a little bit anxious to buy something soon. And the looking is exhausting. It's like a part-time job. You really got to put some time into looking. So I'm not looking forward to going back to the board, as it were, and continue looking. And then it's time consuming. I had to drive, like I said, 90 minutes to get here, and 90 minutes to get back. That's 3 hours. And a lot of the rigs for sale seem to be in Sacramento, which is about a 90-minute to 2-hour drive away from me. For whatever reason, there's not a ton of rigs where I live. So it's going to be time consuming. So I'm a little bit confused as to what the right thing is to do. And I'm just hoping and praying that it will become more clear to me. I'll just keep looking and see if I can find the perfect rig. Like I said, if I can't, I can always just go back to the teardrop and do that for a while until I do find something. But it might be wise for me to take the teardrop out for a whole month and test it out before I give up my apartment and everything, because I'm really not sure about the teardrop. If I got a Class C, I would feel pretty confident that I could do that, but the teardrop, I'm just not sure if it would work, so I feel like I need to do a trial run with that. So that's it for now. That's all I have to share. That's where it's at. It's a lot of work trying to find the perfect rig and to figure out what the best thing is to do. This guy was asking $29,000 for this 2013 8,000 mile rig, and it seems like it was a very good price, but who knows? I looked at JD Power and he priced it at about what they said, but I don't know if that's something you can go by or not. I don't think so. I think that people are pricing rigs, it seems to me, a lot higher than what JD Associates says it's worth. So I don't know if I could have negotiated, but I was thinking, well, if I can get him to come down a couple $1,000s and then maybe spend another $3,000 to get it fixed up, then I'm looking at around $30,000. And then if I sell my teardrop plus my car, then I could recoup that money, and then I'm not out that much money. So that was also kind of my thinking. So I'm looking for a rig that's $30,000 or less. So hopefully I didn't make a mistake by passing on this rig, but I feel like I need a little bit more experience looking at. That was my first rig I've ever looked at, and I feel like I learned a lot today, and no reason that I need to, plunk my money down for the very first rig that I see. I do feel like I need to do my due diligence on this. The guy seemed to be honest, but I just feel like his circumstance was a little bit iffy with the rush to get it sold, so I was just kind of worried about that situation. So that's where it's at. So I just wanted to share my process with you. All right, I'll keep you updated as things go along. Bye for now.